Hello, Pistons fans. David Mayo from MLive here to discuss shooting guards as the Pistons go into the June 23rd draft. You might think that this is a position where the Pistons would be a little less likely to look for help. They have 4 shooting guards on guaranteed contracts, 5 if you include Stanley Johnson, who played at the position extensively last year, going into training camp. So good possibility that something happens as far as a trade here, trying to move a player out rather than add a player, which might make it seem, at least on the surface, a little less likely they would consider shooting guards going into the draft. However, some of these contract situations are a little sticky, and the one guy they want to build around at the position, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, probably isn't going to entertain extending his rookie contract this year because he might bank on a big year and cashing in big in 2017 free agency. He could make a lot of money if he can prove that he could step up his three-point game a little bit more as he did back in January before he got hurt. Beyond that, Reggie Bullock is back for another year. He had certainly an up and down season, if ever there were one. He started the season 1 of 19 from the field, started 1 of 10 on three-pointers and shot 53% from the field down the stretch when the Pistons finally went back to him, and almost 50% on three-pointers. Became a guy that when he went down in the playoffs, it really hurt the Pistons. Darren Hilliard showed some promise his rookie year, another guy they expect to have around for a while. But Jody Meeks is on an expiring contract. He'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2017. Reggie Bullock could be an unrestricted free agent in 2017. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope could be an unrestricted free agent in 2017. So as stable as the Pistons like to think this position is, or as it might appear from the outside, it may not be. Caldwell-Pope is one of those guys you have to be a little bit careful on about the possibility of overspending for a guy like him. So with long-term contracts with Reggie Jackson at the point, with Marcus Morris at the 3, with Tobias Harris at the 4, presumably after this summer with Andre Drummond on a long-term extension at the 5. This is the one position where the Pistons might appear to have some stability, but they might be willing to move away from it if contract dictates. You would think this summer they're going to try to get something for Jody Meeks. He would probably be the single Piston most likely to be traded, and right behind him would be Reggie Bullock probably, because they have to do something to thin the glut at the position. You would want to do it by contract. Bullock's making far less money than Meeks, so obviously the Pistons would like to get some value for Meeks rather than bring 4 players to camp and not be able to keep them all, or jam one into the roster when it's not a perfect fit. So they would try and evaluate one of those guys as they move into the summer. It'll be a big part of their plans. Shooting guard in that wake offers some intrigue and maybe some insight into the Pistons' thinking and how they rank players on the big board if someone like a Denzel Valentine were to be available when they pick at number 18. Probably more likely they would look at a shooting guard at number 49. But again, they have a young shooting guard in Hilliard. It might be a position where the Pistons look a little bit more in 2018 or 2017 than they're likely to look this year. But again, that's why you establish a big board. And if the Pistons do reach for a shooting guard, it might give us some insight into how they felt about some of the big men and point guards available in the first round of the draft. We'll be back next week when we take a look at the small forward position going into the draft.